I just finished filming this one and I'm gonna call it an advanced beginner to intermediate level of student. I had fun making it, so I hope you enjoy. Remember with your trapeze, I think initially it may feel a little clumsy. It may take once or twice going through a sequence before you can start working on your transitions and mastering your poses. Set your hammock to the height of your hip flexors and I hope you enjoy. We're gonna begin our warm-up with our middle handles standing in front of our swing. Stand up nice and tall, palms are facing down, out to the sides. Long spine comes forward, and rather than just hanging here, I want you to actively push into the handles. You'll feel your shoulder blades squeezing together in a nice opening in the chest. The gaze is down so we don't strain the neck, and just very slowly begin to reach your arms forward. As the arms come forward, you'll probably feel your torso rising a bit. And then nice and slow out to the side. Remember, we're actively pushing down into the handles. This should feel like a beautiful stretch across the chest. Inhale, we come forward. Try to lift your tailbone here so it's a nice flat back. And this time, as you come forward, holding onto those handles, bend the elbows, and allow yourself to sink through. Right, so letting your body weight hang, nice and slow, look from right to left, getting into the traps. You might have some tension here you didn't even know about. So just move slowly and pause at end range. Hold at center. Extend those arms out to the side the way we came. Roll your way up. Soft bend to your knees. I want you to catch the fabric right at your shoulders. Hinging back and step those feet as wide, maybe slightly wider than your mat. Draw the navel in, tailbone extends downward, arms come up, interlace behind the head. Give me a nice arch, thoracic opening. As you come up, I want you to actively push your hands into your head to try to widen your elbows. Breathe in. Exhale, relax and soften back into your arch. Again, press the hands into your head, roll up, elbows out to the side, and then exhale, just kind of fall back in. Lifting the head, and try a little bend of the knees. We're gonna bend one and keep the other leg straight, coming into a side bend, up and over to the other side. Keep the head supported so we don't strain the neck. Next time you come over to the left, I want you to hold there. Left hand is gonna hold the head, right arm extends long overhead. One straight line from right fingertips all the way to toe. And then just let the right arm kind of drift out to the side, continuing to open up through the chest. Head is fully supported, right arm reaches up and over, and then out to the side. Swing all the way to the right. Right arm is going to catch the head. Left arm extends. And then out to the side. Imagine you have a little 1 pound weight in your hand, just stretching you open. Swing that arm out and around. And then come back to center. Both hands catch the head, roll up. Place your hands in front of the fabric in front of you. Begin to heel toe those feet together. Hip distance, and then just walk right underneath your plumb line. Draw the navel in. Pick up your right foot and send it behind you. Find your way into a lunge. I'm gonna press and extend through the back of that leg and then roll on that foot. Press and extend, squeeze the quad and release. Push. And release. The chest stays lifted, right? I'm actively pushing into my fabric with my arms. Keeps my chest nice and lifted. Last time. Push through that heel, squeeze and engage the right thigh. Right knee pulls back into the chest. See if you can find it with your hands. Scoop in. Hold it nice and tight and straighten your left leg. Right leg swings behind. Pyramid expression. Plant the back heel. You can hold on to the fabric and extend the heart forward, lift the tailbone. Here again, I'm getting a nice stretch for the chest. And rise up, catch those shoulders. Come into that little chair position right underneath your plumb line. Draw the navel in. Hands come behind the fabric. Left knee up and back. Find your lunge, right? Push your hands into that fabric. Bend and extend. Chest is lifted. You're not hanging in the fabric. Press and push. Squeeze that left thigh, squeeze the glute. Nice and slow. Begin to pull that knee into the chest. See if you can catch. Straighten the leg. Draw the navel in. And sweep back. Left foot to the floor, grab, swing behind you. Nice open chest here. Extend forward, lift the tailbone. One more breath. And as you roll your way up, step those feet together and billow out your fabric. I want you to climb into a seat, so grab a couple handfuls, climb your way in, and you can cover all the way up to those knee creases. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Try to keep those arms at shoulder height. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Once more, inhale overhead. Exhale, looking to the right. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale those arms overhead and let them come out from behind you. Reaching for those middle handles and taking this into a gentle back bend. Nice and slow, roll down onto your back and allow the head to completely hang as you fold. Make sure there's no tension here in the neck. If you need to do a little look, yes or no, let all the tension go. Take another breath. And use your hands here, so very important, don't lift your head while we're hanging. Bend the elbows, lift the chest. Not so you'll come all the way up. Do you lift your head? You can release the handles, catching the creases of the elbows and come into a little forward fold. Closing the eyes and just look inward. Taking a moment to center yourself before we get started in our practice. Even with a 5-minute warm-up, has there been any changes, not just in your body, but maybe your mind? Sometimes our outlook or attitude already begins to shift. If there's any intentions you want to set for our practice together, something you're working on or something you'd like to let go. Roll yourself up nice and slow. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, you could pop down or hold on to those handles to help you to the floor. Bring that swing up and over. Getting ready for our first downward facing dog. Come up onto those toes and hip flexors. Come to the front end of your mat, coming into your fold. I strangely really like to take this little swing here. It's kind of my new thing. So just take a moment to let your body weight hang. Get a little breeze. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Push the ground away with those hands. Flex the feet, push through the heels and draw the navel in. I want you to feel as if you're lengthening your backside. Try not to point the toes and look for the ground. I want you to push and extend through the heels. Corset the ribs together as you draw the navel in. Shake the head, yes or no. Make sure there's no tension in the back of the neck. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, relax down a bit. So letting yourself come right back underneath the plumb line. Legs are gonna come wide and wrap all the way around the front of the fabric. So try to hook your feet And walk a little further back, rock down dog. Actively push your feet into your fabric as you draw the navel in and try to sink your chest through. Again, here just check no strain in the neck. One more full breath. On the release, unhook the feet and come back underneath your plumb line. We're gonna work our way into what is, or at least I know as, a front balance. So reach up for your longest handles. Your hands will be facing the floor, right? Thumbs on the inside. Begin to energize the legs, point the toe, squeeze the quads. And I want you to try to lift into one straight line from crown to toes. Arms can be out to the side, but preferably I want them overhead. So there's an active press down with the hands, navel's drawn in, and just focus on creating length in your body. Yes, this is a little pinchy, but I promise that gets better. All right, so continue to look down, actively push into your handles, engage the glutes. Breathe, right, get a little longer. And on the exhale, legs come down, arms out to the side to release. Hands to the mat, walk forward, take it up and out. Always adjusting pants after a good down dog. From here, stand behind that fabric and right knee is gonna come up and in. I wanna make sure you're underneath your plumb line. That might mean you take a little hop forward. Left arm is gonna cross the chest and find the fabric to the right, right? So this is gonna help us twist. Look over the right shoulder as you reach behind you. I will show you a progression from here. Right arm is gonna lift overhead and come to either the handle, or I prefer the fabric, behind me. So it's right to left, and I want you to focus on rotating even further. So try to push that left arm into the fabric, big rotation here. One more breath. Slow on the release. Square off to center, and left heel is gonna lift. Come forward into a lunge. Try to keep your hips nice and square. So right hip pulls back. Come to what feels like your end range. Climb both hands over to the right. And then option for the reach. Right arm is gonna reach behind, look over that right shoulder. Press the pelvis forward, squeeze your left thigh. Breathe in full. Exhale, release. Come all the way back. Pull yourself back underneath your plumb line and catch the ankle. So right leg extends. Stand nice and tall. Make sure these toes on the left side are pointing forward. Press into the fabric. Come into what feels like end range. Right, and then start a little floss by pointing and flexing your foot. Hold the flex. Pull the right hip back if it's leading. Lengthen the back of the neck, just slightly gazing down and forward. One more inhale. As you release, just kick back into that knee crease and see if you can just climb in. Left meets right. Find your way into a seat. Hopefully you have room in your space, so just take a little ride with me. As you swing forward is the step off. And fabric comes up and over. Second side. Knee crease to the left. And just adjust underneath that plumb line. Start with the cross. Right arm crosses the body. Start with your twist. Rotate to the left. Chest is nice and lifted, heart is open. All right, so for this spiraling action, you may be taking the handle or you may be taking the fabric. So find something to the right Actively push your right arm into the fabric to get a little deeper into your rotation. This is a new one. I just kind of discovered it by accident. It's amazing. Another breath. And slow on the release. Square off to center. Lift that right heel and push forward. All right, so nice long spine, pelvis presses forward, nice and square. Take the walk over, so we walk to the left. Release the left hand, look behind you. Engage your right thigh, squeeze the glutes. Release, square off to center, kicking to the ankle. Before you come into your fold, just look down at this right foot. It tends to turn out, which makes balance a little easier. So try to keep those toes forward. Nice long spine, forward extension, and range. And then give me that flex, right? This is going to floss the back of that leg. Last time, flex and hold. Just keep pushing that fabric away. One more breath. And that release. We kick through. And then take that same little swing, right meets left. It wouldn't be the first time I climbed in and kicked the wall. When I hung this 5 years ago, I was not going to be on YouTube, although I'm glad I am. As you swing forward is the step. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, fold yourself in half. Hands to the mat, step down onto a table position. Once you come down, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, inhale, come into a cow pose. Exhale, curl and round, come into a cat. One more time. Inhale and exhale. As you come to a neutral spine, just lift one hand and reverse it. So my fingers are facing my body. Actively push the shoulder away from the ear, and if it feels like you can go a little bit deeper, just let your body weight sink back slightly. From here, think of peeling the hand as you bend the elbow for that sweet release. Second side, lift the hand, fingers point towards you, actively shrug away from the shoulder, and send your body weight back if you're ready. For the release, bend the elbow and just slowly peel the fingers off the floor. Coming back into table. You'll probably need to crawl forward just a little bit. I want you to be just ahead of your fabric. Look over the right shoulder and hook the ankle and begin to push back. You may want to walk your hands back a little. Try to keep the leg nice and straight. Actively push the foot into the fabric as you draw the navel in. So getting deeply into that right hip flexor. Try to even drop the right hip a little. So good. And so we don't lose the fabric, I want you to keep the foot flexed. Bend the knee. Right? So I want you to think about pushing the knee towards the floor. Squeeze the glutes and really try to get a little deeper into your quad. The more you engage the glutes, right, the more you'll feel this. Point and extend, really push down, nice straight leg. Come into your end range, sink the hip, and look to the left. Right, even just changing the gaze makes things a whole lot more intense. Release back, come into table position. Couple rounds of cat-cow before we work our second side. Look over the left shoulder. Hooking fabric. Maybe walking the hands back. Active left leg. So really try to straighten by squeezing the quad. Sink the hip. Give me that active flex as you bend the knee. All right, so engage the glutes. Imagine trying to push your knee towards the floor as you engage your glutes. Point and extend. Get nice and long. All right, sink the left. Look to the right. Rock forward into table. Inhale the arms overhead and try to catch behind the fabric. And come right behind those shoulder blades. Scooping in with that core, feet to the floor. Feet to the floor. Shoulder blades. Inhale back. So you can extend the arms or catch, right? Catch the head. Support the neck. Extend the tailbone towards the toes. Breathe. Bend the knees and find your way up. Fabric is going to come up and over. Remember that front balance we did? We're going to see if we can take a little progression. So if it's your first time seeing this, you might want to watch once just so you can feel comfortable so you know where you're going. Starting with your downward dog. You can take a little swing like me. Downward dog, push through the heels, press through the palms, long spine, tailbone lifted. And it is a wrapped dog setup. I want you to just take your handles and your hands first, so bottom handles and hands. Wrap down dog, I'm gonna tuck those feet in front just as I did before. Now my hands are right by my ears, palms facing down. Same action, we push, and we lift. Now if this bothers the back, right, hopefully you're ready for it. May take a little bit of time to work on those quads and hip flexors. Press the pelvis towards the ground by engaging the glutes. Heart is nice and open. One more breath. This is so good. Forgot about this. Nice and slow on the release. Arms could extend. Untuck the toes. Come into your front balance again, so reaching long. Engage those back sides, point the toes. Reach with the hands, draw the navel in. Arms out to the side as you fall into your little nugget position. You can release and hang everything. Shake the head, yes or no. We're gonna try that one more time. So for that setup, I recommend grabbing handles first so that we can get our feet around the fabric. So palms are facing the floor, legs extend out to the side, hook the fabric, right? I'm gonna hook the front of the fabric, push, right? So we squeeze the pelvis towards the ground by engaging the glutes. Actively push your feet into your fabric. Again, pinch factor, I'm feeling you, right? But at the same time, it gets better. We just have to practice regularly. A couple times a week would do it for you. Release slowly, right? So unhooking those feet. So you can come into front balance if you want. And eventually down into your fold. Hands to the floor, lift the gaze, and walk up and out. Adjusting your pants. Swing will come up and over. And I want you to find your way back into your seat. So billow out that fabric, climb your way in. Once you're comfortable in your seat, we're gonna do what feels like twister to me. Left leg is gonna cross over right leg. Right arm is gonna sweep up and come behind the fabric so that you can find the middle handle. Now rather than just dropping straight back, I like to make a small pivot. So I'm gonna try to take my knees and kind of point them to a diagonal. So they're kind of reaching to this right side. Right arm is holding, nice and slow. So you know I'm kind of sideways. I'm not dropping straight back into a back bend, I'm sideways. Extend down, arm lengthens, and then this left arm can come all the way up and over. So where I'm feeling this is through the whole left side body. It's delicious in my opinion. Let the head go. Right, no strain in the neck. Of course, if something doesn't feel right to you, you can sit and take that nice little folded restorative position that we did earlier. Jump back in when you're ready. Maybe today is a sinus pressure day. You don't want to be doing this while you have sinus pressure. The exit, you can just simply pull up with the hand, or I recommend supporting the neck by holding the head with the left arm. Then you could reach up with the right. Bring yourself all the way back up. As you come back to center, you might just want to hold on to your middle handles. Shift your hips to center first. Let's try our second side. Right crosses over left. Our left hand should be holding onto the fabric or holding onto the handle. I'm gonna try to make that little pivot. So I'm gonna push my knees so that they point to this left diagonal. That's gonna get me onto my side a little better. Nice and slow. So notice how my back is to you. I'm not in a back bend where I'm facing the ceiling. My back is to you. Once you come into the extension of the arm, then the right can reach and hang. Right, just bring length into your body. Gravity and traction, beautiful thing. Just gently tone the core here, draw the navel back. Support the head with that right hand as you come up. Square off to center. And let the elbows catch the fabric, come into a fold. Maybe shake your head yes or no. I want you to check in. How you doing? I feel like we're all over the place today. We're up, we're down, we're sideways. Roll your way up. Place your feet on the floor. We're gonna be taking our practice into a little bit of balance work. So grabbing your longest handles, beginning with Virabhadrasana 3, our Warrior 3 pose. Extend the heart forward, actively push down into your handles. Right leg to begin. Begin to lift the leg nice and straight. Keep your hips square to the floor. And arms extend forward. So try to imagine one straight line from the crown of the head all the way to your heel. Right, draw the navel in, actively push into those handles. Don't hold your breath. One more inhale. And slow release. The right foot comes down. Adjust to center, second side. Left leg lifts, right? We want our hips to point down. There's a tendency for the hips to want to lift and tilt. So everything is square to the front of the mat. So reach the heart forward, extend and press through that left heel. Got lots of shaking going on. Looking down at the mat in front of you. One more breath. Slow on the release, feet to the floor. Release those handles, inhale the arms overhead, and bring them behind the fabric. Bend the knees to catch the shoulders, and then push back. You can take this into one long straight line, tailbone extends down towards the heels, or support the neck with your hands behind head, arching over. Just breathe into the shape that you're in. Anytime you're in this pose, lift your chest first, and then your head can come up. Bend your knees and come back underneath your plumb line. This time we're going to try a little progression. That is Ardha Chandrasana, our half moon. It's a little challenging. If you've never seen it before, take a quick peek. To begin, I'll be holding with just my left handle. Similar setup. The right leg will lift. Now as the right leg lifts, our goal is to stack the pelvis. So left hand can come out to the side, and then begin to try to stack your right hip on top of your left hip. From here, right leg is as high as the hip. You can extend your right arm, see how that feels. Your progression is to extend your left hand a little further forward, and what that does is it gives us a more narrow base to balance on, which makes life even more challenging. Don't hold your breath. And slow release. That one's really challenging. Go ahead and shake it out. Second side. Right, one side will always be a little more challenging than the other. Extend forward. Begin to lift the left. So you can start to what feels like that warrior position, warrior 3. Then arm comes out to the side. So right arm comes out to the side. Begin to stack your hips one on top of the other. Right, try to keep that leg as high as the hip. Option here to lift through the left hand, or see if you can come a little further forward. I got lots of shakes going on. It's all good. Breathe. Nice breath in. Slow on the release. Come all the way up. Arms overhead, catch the back of the fabric again. Bend the elbows. This time it's a forward fold. Let everything hang. If you want to just wiggle your fingers a bit here, just wiggle your fingers. Take a little side to side action with the legs. I had no idea what our sequence would be today, but I think it's a little challenging. Roll your way up, if nothing else. We're getting a good stretch. Inhale your arms up and release. Okay, we're gonna take our practice into back straddle inversion. Now I want you to face whatever direction you think is best for you in relation to your screen. When we're hanging upside down, things can get a little confusing. I always recommend maybe watching first, or if you're unfamiliar, just kind of doing a little review before we actually get upside down. Find your way into your seat. You'll want to think of taking the fabric just to the upper region of your thighs. We don't need to pull it all the way back down to the creases of your knees. For that back straddle, I do like to hold the handles and the fabric away from me so I can hook in front. As you drop back, the legs will wrap in front. Now you'll probably notice I typically will have my soles of the feet touching, but others like to hook their feet on the fabric. It really is yogi's choice. Once you come upside down, take a moment to just make sure there's no strain in the neck here. Maybe look right or left. And try to avoid just hanging. So just gently pull the ribs together, draw the navel in. Remember, it does take time for you to become accustomed to being upside down. The arms get interlaced behind as well. If at all you need to come out, make sure that you exit slowly. Just sit in a seat. If your hands touch the floor, I want you to walk into the direction of your head, right? So I'm gonna walk towards the front end of my mat here. Allow your chest to sink through, and you'll feel a very exaggerated version of what feels like downward facing dog. Continue to try to draw the navel in. There should be no strain in the neck here, so let everything go. If you need a little reprieve, you can always just lift your gaze towards the front of the mat. Take a couple breaths, and on the exhale, just sink back when you're ready. Come back underneath that plumb line, release the hands, reaching up for either fabric or handles. Lift your gaze, and then just unwrap the feet. You'll come to either a seat, sitting up nice and tall, or you can catch the elbows in the fabric and just fold forward a little. Give yourself a little bit of time to become accustomed to being right side up. I am going to take you back one more time. If for whatever reason you need to stay seated and just kind of adjust, stay here. I want you to hold the middle handles. So as you extend those handles out and away, just kind of hold the fabric as you drop back. Taking your same hook, release just the right. I always find it hard to figure out right from left when I'm upside down. So right, which is this one, find the floor. And this is kind of your own interpretation. I'm gonna walk that right hand back and away. You look a little bit right or left, finding a deeper stretch down the right side. And depending on where this hand goes, I can really target some areas that I didn't know I had. Like for example, here I'm feeling it in my bicep tendon. Looking to the left, I'm feeling it in my trap. Resume center, so just take both handles, little crunch up, left hand releases and looks for the floor. You are gonna do your own interpretation of this. We're looking to stretch somewhere down the left side. It could be the chest, it could be the bicep. I'm feeling this in my bicep tendon. The trap as I look around. One more breath. Find both handles. All right, so scoop up, nice and slow with the release, where we unhook our legs as you come all the way up to your seat. Again, we just want to get used to being right side up, either hinging forward or just sit nice and tall. Find your way to the floor. We're going to take our practice down to a little bit more of a restorative vibe to finish. So I want you to adjust your hammock so that we're maybe a foot off the ground. Welcome to a new atmosphere. Just for reference, this is below my knees, so it's about the middle of my shins, and I'm on the lowest height of my daisy chains. To get started, I want you to hook one ankle in the fabric. Bend your other knee, so we'll come right to the inner thigh and flex the foot that's out in front of you. Start with a rotation. Arm is going to come to the inner portion of that leg. And our goal here is to see if we can catch the fabric from behind. So I want you to reach behind you. Actively push into the fabric with your hand to help you get a little deeper into your twist. Try to keep that foot flexed that's out in front in the fabric. And just play with your gaze here. So you may prefer to look down rather than up. Try to really expand through the rib cage as you breathe in. One more breath. Make that rotation towards the extended leg. Now you want to focus on trying to get the belly to the thigh, right? So I want to fold as far forward as I can, and then allow the upper body to relax. If you can reach the foot without pulling through your shoulders, you're welcome to grab that foot to take the fold. Make some small adjustments here. Breathe in and extend, fold. And roll your way up. We're going to take a variation of pigeon. For me, this is super deep, and if the hammock is too high, this is where you'll struggle. I'm going to bend that knee, and I want to make sure I'm underneath my plumb line. Typically, I'll need to scooch forward a little bit. Climb through your little window. I want to get the elbows to the opposite side so I can pull my torso through. Flex this foot on the leg that you're stretching. Try to let your body weight sink here. And just breathe into this one. This should feel just like pigeon, only most likely a little more intense. One more breath. And arms will slide back through. Second side. So we're placing that ankle with the other. Come to that inner thigh. Rock back and forth on those sit bones. Start with rotation. I'm going to twist to the leg. Hook your arm or your elbow. And then look for the fabric that's behind you, right? You want to actively push your hand into the fabric. It's going to get us a whole bunch deeper. Flex the foot that's out in front of you. Let the head hang here, so organic through the neck. Breathe and expand that lung. Slow on the release, pivot to the extended leg. Remember, we want to focus on belly to thigh, so come as far forward as you can. Upper body relaxes. Option for the foot, so if you take the foot, just make sure you're not extending through the shoulders as you come into release that upper body. Make some small adjustments, get a little deeper. Roll your way up. Getting ready for that pigeon. So it is a bend of the leg, right? So I don't know how I always move, but I always end up behind. Didn't I just do this? So come forward. Swim through your window. Try to catch the elbows. That'll help you pull your upper body through. Keep the foot flexed of the leg that's in the hammock. Come into your fold. Little bonus work here. You can put your elbow on the thigh and you'll notice you sink even deeper, as if we weren't deep enough. Unravel that pose, and you can release. Go ahead and take a little wrist wrap. I want you to adjust so that you're right underneath those rigging points. From here, legs can come around and through. Catch the backs of the knee creases, and just take a moment to notice how you're feeling. Close your eyes. Get heavy in the pelvis. The mind likes to drift and critique. We feel clumsy or sloppy in our fabric. It's okay. From here, extend the legs and catch the ankles. If you want to do a little side to side action here, just let your legs swing a little. We're taking a twist to the right. So the left leg is going to come up and across your body. So you can grab the outer part of the thigh with your right hand. You can also work for the ankle if that's accessible. So if you can grab the ankle, I want you to keep both shoulders on the floor here. So if you find yourself rolling off that left shoulder, I want you to scale back. Try bending the knee versus extending the leg. Gentle head rock. nice breath in. And on that exhale, push the left hip away from the shoulder. Left leg climbs in. Once you come to center, lift and lower your hips. You want to square off through the pelvis. Option to bend the right knee as it comes across your body. Remember, we want both shoulders on the floor. Alternatively, we grab the ankle and extend. Push the right hip down and away. Just rock the head or look to the right. Begin to sweep that leg up and through, lift and lowering the hips. And I want you to decide how you want to end your practice. We can keep our legs elevated and fall into our Shavasana from here. If you prefer to get inside your hammock, you want to make sure that your fabric is nice and wide. Find a seat. And I always recommend trying to cover your head first, right? So I'm going to lean back. Cover the crown of your head. And then you could help bring these feet in. So soles of the feet touch. Knees will be bowed open. And you can just cross your arms over your chest. And let this take you into your Shavasana. Feel the fabric supporting you regardless of which pose you've chosen. Beginning to let the mind drift to wherever it'd like to go. The muscles are soft and the bones are heavy. Notice where your mind is. And then feel it more present in your body. Moving fingers and toes or gently rocking the head. If you're in the hammock, just pull the knees to the chest and then the feet to the floor. Come up nice and slow. If you're on your back, just slowly roll yourself up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring it through heart center. And open your eyes. I am humbled to be here working with you. Make sure that you check out our trapeze playlist if you haven't already, and I will continue to add to it, I promise. If you've enjoyed this, consider liking, and of course subscribing if you're new. Hopefully I'll get to see you soon, either on the mat or in the air.